Lively's worst moments that we will never forget.
Blake Lively has had issues with many celebrities, and you won't believe some of the names on this list.
Her feud with Justin Baldoni.
Why is Blake Lively suing Justin Baldoni? Let me explain.
As the fallout begins from Blake Lively's explosive allegations against co-star Justin Baldoni.
You've probably been living under a rock if you haven't heard about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's It Ends With Us fiasco.
Ever since the release last summer of her box office hit, rumors and allegations follow, smear campaigns to bullying.
All that started quietly, of course. Nobody saw a meltdown coming when the pair first signed on as co-stars. But as production ramped up, rumor has it that Blake started clashing with Baldoni, who not only starred but also directed. The movie was supposed to be a breezy adaptation of a beloved Colleen Hoover book, but behind the scenes, full-on power struggle. Word on the street is Blake expected a say in everything from final edits to storyline tweaks, and if Justin didn't budge, she allegedly took matters to the top brass. Then came the accusations from Blake's side and the defamation countersuit from Justin. Suddenly, they were lobbing suits at each other in a real-life soap opera that overshadowed the film's hype. Gossips claim Blake's controlling nature rubbed Justin raw. He said in interviews he was beyond stressed in 2024, wiping away tears and hinting that an intense conflict nearly broke him. Those who back Blake say Justin was unprofessional, improvised intimate scenes, and forced her into unscripted kisses. Meanwhile, Justin's camp calls that rubbish, releasing text logs that show him reassuring her about postpartum weight or scheduling an intimacy coordinator. So who's the real villain? Both sides have found loyal supporters, each slamming the other as manipulative. The fiasco literally overshadowed the entire film's release. Some fans even boycotted out of confusion over who's telling the truth. Regardless, the drama proves one thing. When you cross Blake Lively, you're stepping into the ring with a star who's more than ready to take things outside. Blake Lively allegedly snubbed Leighton Meester on Gossip Girl. Let's be real. Gossip Girl thrived on drama, but apparently some of that tension bled into real life too. According to New York Magazine back in 2008, Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, Serena and Blair, BFFs on screen, avoided each other off camera like the plague. Fans who prayed the pair was as tight IRL must have been crushed. Then an old panel clip emerged, with Blake making a joke at Meester's expense, implying she'd been in a cage at birth.
That was a lot of information about cages, and I'm sorry, I was still thrown off by that stuff.
He was like, wow.
The audience reaction was complete silence. Blake tried to salvage it. Come on, it was a joke. But no one was laughing. So what's the real tea? Apparently, those close to the set claim they never openly fought, but were never besties either. Blake's PR basically told folks, they've never pretended to be friends. Blake just does her job and goes home. So fans surmised it was a classic case of two strong personalities who'd rather keep it cordial than sisterly. And the evidence was that Leighton follows a couple of Gossip Girl alumni on Instagram, but not Blake. At least they gave us good TV, but off screen, let's just say XOXO wasn't exactly their vibe. She was accused of snubbing a fan's gift. Fans don't always get the warm, fuzzy reaction they hope for when presenting celebs with heartfelt gifts. And in Blake Lively's case, a little pink friendship bracelet definitely didn't land as planned. At the 2024 premiere of It Ends With Us, one eager fan handed Blake the homemade accessory while she was working the red carpet. Rather than slip it on and flash a gracious smile, the star promptly offloaded it to a team member, explaining it didn't go with her red carpet look, but that she'd wear it later.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. I'm gonna put it here because it doesn't go with my outfit, but I will wear it later.
That would have been fine, except the very same fan gifted an identical bracelet to co-star Isabella Ferrer, who squealed with excitement and put it on right away. Cue the crowd side-eyeing Blake for sounding less than thrilled about a sweet memento. The TikTok that captured both actresses' reactions went viral, racking up millions of views and a ton of comments saying, "Wow, Blake, couldn't you have just pretended to appreciate it for 2 seconds?" Whether it was a fashion faux pas or genuinely rude is still up for debate, but it sure gave the internet another reason to question Blake's public persona. Her lifestyle site, Preserve Glorified Antebellum South. If you thought Blake's wedding was a one-time slip-up, guess again. In 2014, Blake launched her lifestyle site, Preserve, which included a piece titled Allure of Antebellum. As if romanticizing that pre-Civil War era wasn't bad enough, the piece came accompanied by photos reimagining 1800s Southern style, allegedly curated by Blake. Critics pounced, claiming it glorified a period marked by unsavory acts by certain people against other people, and that the piece's flowery language about magnetic sensibility was seriously tone-deaf. Blake's name wasn't on the article, but she was rumored to have styled the spread, and as the site's figurehead, accountability still fell on her. The piece unleashed a wave of negative press. She shut Preserve down in 2015, admitting the site never truly found its groove. Some cynics, though, suspected the antebellum fiasco was a big reason she pulled the plug. Like no brand can recover from that level of cringe. She never directly apologized, leaving fans divided. Were her intentions naive, or was she just ignoring historical context to push cutesy, gone-with-the-wind aesthetics? Either way, it's one more example that Preserve probably belonged in the bin from the start. Armie Hammer called her a nightmare on set. Okay, so maybe it's wild to cite Armie Hammer as a trustworthy source these days, but in 2017, he sure dropped a wild story on Watch What Happens Live. Hammer had a small recurring gig on Gossip Girl in 2009, and when asked who was the biggest diva, he mumbled something about it being a tough show to film, and that he had to exit early. Host Andy Cohen pressed further, inquiring, "Who was your love interest?" Hammer quietly answered, "Blake," which instantly left the impression that Blake was the so-called problem. Chelsea Handler quipped, "Sounds like she was the problem." And Hammer didn't fully deny it. Of course, Hammer's rep insisted he never directly meant Blake was the issue, but fans read between the lines, concluding that if he's cryptically discussing a diva, it's likely her. Critics point to Blake's rumored controlling nature again. Maybe she butted heads about scripts or insisted on overshadowing co-stars. The interview fueled speculation that the real Blake might be a far cry from her sunshiny persona. Hammer's meltdown overshadowed everything he once said, but some folks remain convinced that maybe he was telling the truth. She's not so easy to work with. Pregnancy cravings? She called them fake. No, she didn't. Yes, she did. In 2014, a pregnant Blake Lively stunned fans by telling Extra's AJ Calloway that pregnancy cravings are basically an excuse to indulge.
Cravings? Nah.
No?
No, we just lie.
She implied women use them to get midnight ice cream runs guilt-free. She further suggested that foot rub requests might also be a con. Let's just say a lot of expectant moms did not appreciate being labeled liars. The comment resurfaced amid all the "it ends with us" controversy, with critics framing it as more proof she's out of touch. But loyal fans argue she was joking. Blake's known for sarcastic humor. They say she never meant to shame pregnant women, just teased them about the "I need pickles at 3 a.m. stereotype. Still, telling the masses that their cravings are a big con? Risky. Considering that plenty of pregnant women do experience bizarre cravings, like pickles and peanut butter, some found it insulting. Whether it's a silly gaffe or more evidence of her aloof, privileged attitude is up for debate. But let's be real, she probably lost a chunk of mommy blogger fans that day. That interview from hell with Kirsty Flaw. When journalist Kirsty Flaw posted an old 2016 interview clip calling it "the Blake Lively interview that made me want to quit my job," the internet broke. In the video, Flea congratulates Blake on her pregnancy, only to have Blake snark, "Congrats on your little bump," implying the reporter was pregnant too. Flea wasn't pregnant. In fact, she'd had fertility issues. Awkward.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
Fans called Blake's retort plain mean. Kirsty admitted she was scared to go public with it, fearing a blacklist from Hollywood. But after the "it ends with us" meltdown, she felt emboldened to show the real Blake. Of course, some defenders say Blake was obviously joking. But it's a rough joke to crack if you're not sure your interviewer is pregnant. The cringe soared further when Blake didn't back down or apologize mid-interview. That sealed the deal for the rumor that behind the camera, she might be a total mean girl. Even people who were neutral started to eye-roll at how she handled a harmless question about her little bump. Summarily, Kirsty said the encounter left her questioning if she should stay a journalist. That's not exactly a hallmark of a nice, gracious star. Lashing out at a reporter over trying everything. As if the Kirsty Flaw fiasco wasn't enough, another old press junket came to light from 2017, around the time of All I See Is You. A DP30 interviewer innocuously asked Blake if she felt free to try new roles over the next 5 years. She abruptly retorted, "What does that mean?" and later questioned if the reporter had even seen the film. The tension in the clip is thick. He tried clarifying, "I meant, do you feel adventurous in your career?" She refused to let it go, eventually quipping, "We'll give you a pop quiz at the end." To viewers, it looked like she was itching for a reason to bite back at a question that was normal as far as press junkets go. People chalk it up to possible stress or exhaustion. But once it resurfaced, it fit the narrative of Blake can be trigger-happy when it comes to perceived slights. On top of that, this meltdown happened right after the fiasco with Armie Hammer's insinuations she was difficult. Some fans think everything started piling up, exposing a pattern. Blake's seemingly sweet exterior can snap to defensive mode the second she senses shade. Whether it's miscommunication or an actual short fuse is up for debate, but from a gossip standpoint, it's definitely not the best look. Flea admits, she always plans to take control of movies, and now we know it ends with us isn't a one-time thing.
When I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor, and I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to fulfill.
Back in 2022, she was talked about being hired as an actor, but wanting more.
If you believed Blake Lively was that sweet, carefree gal who just wants to read her lines and collect a paycheck, guess again. A newly resurfaced interview from the 2022 Forbes Power Women Summit reveals she has a crafty approach.
That wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative.
She shows up eager to act happy-go-lucky, but once production starts, she's trying to gain major creative control. It's practically her standard script. Smile, land the gig, then swiftly pivot into behind-the-scenes boss mode.
For them, sometimes that might have felt like a rug pull because you're trying to assert yourself into something that we didn't hire you to do.
And now, with all the fuss around It Ends With Us, these quotes are fueling talk that she downright hijacked the film from Justin Baldoni. Blake spelled it out in the chat, saying she's only fulfilled if she's part of the writing, costume design, and storyline. Sure, some sets welcome her input, but others probably roll their eyes and think, "We hired you to star, not produce." It's a piece of the bigger drama swirling around her feud with Justin. He's the actor-director who ended up in a big beef with Blake after she accused him of a load of stuff. Basically, she called him out for stepping over boundaries. Meanwhile, Justin claims she snatched creative control out from under him, overshadowing his directorial role. Now fans are rewatching that Forbes clip with brand new eyes, seeing her admission as Exhibit A that she planned all along to run the show. Blake admitted she sometimes wonders if she's the jerk in the room when she bombards producers or directors with her ideas in a leaked interview. She's well aware that she's stepping outside her job title. There's even a line about how she used to go to these initial meetings acting like she was fine just being cast, but all along she felt unfulfilled if she wasn't shaping the script. Fans of Blake find it refreshing she owns that, but for certain film folks, it's a big nuisance. Some sets are super collaborative, where a star's input is welcomed. Others are more rigid, and if you try rewriting pages or messing with the costume department, people can get offended. If that friction resonates, it probably spells out exactly how her situation with Justin Baldoni escalated. He said he was exhausted from the mess around 2024, which lines up with the filming schedule for It Ends With Us. So did he expect a docile leading lady, only to realize she wanted to drive the entire project? We might never get the behind-the-scenes info, but the timing's suspiciously perfect. Fans keep replaying her Forbes talk, saying here she is, in her own words, basically forecasting that she's about to butt heads with whoever's in charge if they won't give her enough creative power. Now that the cat's out of the bag about Blake's hidden ambitions, it's fueling the already heated suit. Justin's claiming defamation, extortion, and that Blake basically ruined him for standing up to her. She, on the other hand, says he mistreated her, improvised too many intimate scenes, and basically put her in a toxic environment. At a recent hearing, the judge threatened to accelerate the trial date if the public mudslinging keeps going. Meanwhile, both sides keep leaking text messages or behind-the-scenes footage, riling fans. Friedman, Justin's lawyer, calls Blake a bully, while Blake's camp says this is textbook for someone being accused of this kind of stuff. Drama, drama, drama. All the while, everyone's rewatching her old Summit appearances. One YouTube comment sums up the general vibe. Blake literally told us she pulls a fast one on directors, and we ignored it. With that in mind, people wonder if maybe she oversold the claims to overshadow her controlling behavior. Or maybe both sides are half right. Let's face it, if you're going to wave the I want authorship banner, you might step on toes unintentionally or intentionally. Did Justin handle it poorly? Possibly. Did Blake up the ante once she was in the driver's seat? Likely.
Baldoni's new website completely exposes Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and this is the kind of thing Blake was hoping would not come out.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are seeking to dismiss Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against them.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds to ask federal court to drop Justin Baldoni's $400 million suit amid legal battles.
Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have been flinging allegations for months, but fans were still caught off guard when Justin dropped his brand new website.
The It Ends With Us director has launched a website that includes an amended $400 million complaint.
Justin unveiled a treasure trove of evidence. According to TMZ, the site links straight to the amended version of Justin's whopping $400 million lawsuit against Blake, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and her publicist Leslie Sloan.
Justin also shared a filed document containing alleged screenshots of texts exchanged between him and Blake.
It also leads viewers to a 168-page timeline jam-packed with never-before-seen emails, text exchanges, and behind-the-scenes tidbits from the production of It Ends With Us. Essentially, Justin is going all in on transparency, claiming that these materials prove he's not the big bad wolf that Blake's complaints make him out to be.
Justin Baldoni claiming she tried to destroy his reputation behind the scenes of It Ends With Us.
Longtime onlookers recall the fiasco began late 2024 when Blake accused Justin of stepping way out of line, both personally and professionally, during the making of their 2024 film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's beloved novel. She filed a formal suit alleging serious overreach on Justin's partaking, like making weird remarks, pushing her comfort boundaries, orchestrating a so-called campaign after she confronted him. Justin denied it all. But fans had only gotten bits and pieces of each side of the story. Now, with his new website, Justin's dropping entire text logs that show a pretty friendly Blake at times. It's definitely raising eyebrows about how drastically their relationship soured. Are these messages the final blow to her claims, or carefully selected out of context to spin the narrative? That's a question swirling across social media, and with the trial date set for March 2026, the drama is nowhere near finished. One of the biggest gasps from Justin's website is a text from Blake referencing her love language. When she brought it up, she described it as spicy and playfully bold. She calls it ball busting, but clarifies it's never with teeth. She told Justin never to take her teasing too seriously. Talk about a big pivot from her official suit. Meanwhile, a message from Ryan Reynolds turned up, calling Justin dynamic, saying he was stoked to see Blake crack open her creative piggy bank with Justin. Fans have latched onto that line, seeing as it's proof that at some point, Ryan wholeheartedly endorsed Justin's collaboration with his wife, contradicting the rumors he tried to push Justin out of the loop. But perhaps the most eyebrow-raising detail is Blake's apparent decision to skip meeting the intimacy coordinator early on. She texted Justin that she'd link up with the coordinator when filming started, which doesn't exactly scream she was uncomfortable from day one. None of this definitively proves or disproves any wrongdoing, of course. As critics point out, early texts can be friendly even if tensions blow up later. But Justin's supporters feel vindicated, insisting these messages show a cohesive working relationship until everything randomly went haywire. If the site has more like these, it might be tough for Blake's team to paint a picture of an ongoing nightmare environment on set, at least from the get-go. Justin Baldoni was legit scared of Blake Lively while filming. In May 2023, Justin texted someone he was terrified of telling Blake that fan backlash had emerged about her leaked look. He's worried she'd interpret his approach as pushy or invasive, especially given she'd just had a baby. This precisely is the kind of scenario that could feed allegations against Blake's complaint that Justin was too fixated on how she looked post-pregnancy or made suggestive comments. Yet the new logs might cast it as Justin simply grappling with how to tactfully bring up fan concerns. Nothing salacious there, unless you think even acknowledging a postpartum appearance is crossing a line. Justin's site also claims he has screenshots verifying how he tried to handle everything respectively, including letting the film's intimacy coordinator know about any sensitive scenes. It's definitely a he said, she said situation, but with all these texts laid bare, fans get a deeper glimpse of how anxious Justin was. Some find it relatable, a director trying not to step on anyone's toes. Others remain unconvinced, feeling that text snippets can't possibly show everything said face to face. The real question is whether a judge or jury might view these tidbits as evidence that Justin was being cautious rather than predatory, undermining Blake's story, or if it just highlights his own insecurity about confronting her, which might have led to the meltdown. Ryan Reynolds wanted to control the final cut of It Ends With Us with Blake. Plenty of fans kept asking, where does Ryan Reynolds fit in? The newly updated suit names him specifically, as well as Blake's publicist Leslie Sloan, for allegedly supporting her and orchestrating a narrative to undermine Justin's credibility. According to Justin's camp, it's not just about personal grudges. They claim the real reason that Blake, and presumably Ryan by extension, wanted to control the final cut of It Ends With Us was to amplify her brand. Justin said that once he stood up for his directional vision, they retaliated. The star is even seeking a jaw-dropping $400 million in damages.
Justin has hit Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and her publicist Leslie Sloan $400 million lawsuit.
A lot of folks find that figure staggering, but sources on Justin's side claim that it's only that big because of the potential financial repercussions he faced. He was apparently dropped by certain agencies and lost prospective deals after the alleged campaign. Meanwhile, Blake and Ryan are rumored to have a combined net worth close to that amount. Some fans see it as Justin's strategic way of battling heavyweights who could easily bounce back from a smaller sum. Others say it's outlandish or purely for shock value, but either way it underscores how massive this feud really is. This isn't just two co-stars bickering, it's a high-stakes standoff that might bankrupt someone if the ruling doesn't go their way. On top of everything, Blake and Ryan recently asked for a gag order against Justin's attorney Brian Friedman. They argue Friedman's constant media appearances and talk of receipts could seriously muddy the waters for potential jurors. Friedman fired back, calling it ironic that Blake is petrified of the truth. He points out that her side went public with allegations first, possibly trying to taint the publicist's view of him. Now that Justin's dropping his own drama, Friedman believes they're scrambling to muzzle him. Fans on social media are divided. One camp says Friedman's tactic come off as a PR blitz, basically an attempt to trial by tabloid. Another insists that Blake's allegations were truly airtight. She wouldn't be freaked out by the full story coming out. Some think both sides are playing games. Blake by releasing carefully worded allegations in the high-profile outlets like the New York Times, and Justin by publishing selective evidence to a new website.
The It Ends With Us director has launched a website that includes an amended $400 million complaint.
Ultimately, the judge has yet to rule on any gag order, so the dueling public statements continue for now. But with a March 2026 trial date looming, the drama could intensify if both sides keep dropping partial receipts to spin the narrative. We're looking at a slow crawl towards the 2026 date where the whole truth comes out. The newly unveiled messages are just a portion of what Justin claims to have. Friedman's famous quip, "We all have the receipts," and more hints that the website might expand with deeper revelations. Meanwhile, Blake hasn't commented specifically on the new leaks, but stands by her claims. If you believe the fiasco is winding down, think again. It appears we're only scraping the surface of the documentation each side has saved. Industry insiders are calling it one of Hollywood's worst co-star fiascos in recent memory, especially since It Ends With Us started as a big hopeful collaboration, aiming to be the next big romance drama. Now, fans who once followed the film for the love story are glued to real-life drama, overshadowing all that box office success. Some people worry that once the dust settles, neither star's reputation will remain unscathed. Others see Justin as a potential martyr if the side turns to his favor, or suspect that Blake and Ryan's star power might keep them afloat no matter what happens. One looming question is how the rest of the industry might respond. Will studios shy away from hiring them? Is publicity in Hollywood always a good thing? The only certainty is that the internet can't get enough of this. The site's text logs practically broke Twitter, prompting endless theories. Did Blake secretly flirt with Justin early on, then get spooked when Ryan became suspicious? Did Justin truly face a cunning plan to dethrone him from his own movie? The fans surely want answers, and the final word may only come across when all of these receipts surface in a courtroom. With so many turns already, it's anybody's guess how this drama ends.
Imagine Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni were sending each other downright flirty messages behind the scenes of It Ends With Us.
Blake Lively had these text messages that Justin Baldoni is dropping.
The lawsuitinfo.com is filled with even more alleged unseen texts and emails between Justin and Blake.
Truth, veracity, honesty, and to not see the destruction of people's lives unnecessarily.
Well, buckle up, because newly leaked texts have the internet reeling over how flirty their chatter seemed, especially considering the pair is now engaged in a pretty hefty feud. According to Justin's just-launched website, the Gossip Girl actress texted him back in April 2023 about a rewrite of the rooftop scene, calling her banter with him flirty and yummy, adding, "It's my love language." Many fans did a double take reading that line, thinking, weren't these two at each other's throats? It doesn't stop there. In another text, Blake told Justin she was cool with skipping a meetup with the film's intimacy coordinator, suggesting she'd just wing it once shooting began. She ended the conversation with a casual, "I feel good," which now feels ironic given how bitter the fallout has become. Justin, for his part, reportedly told colleagues he was terrified of upsetting Blake because he didn't want to cross her or risk blowback from her powerful circle. Talk about tense. The messages paint a very different picture than the allegations floating around, fueling speculation that their relationship once had a spark before unraveling into massive lawsuits and countersuits. If these wild texts are just the tip of the iceberg, fans can only imagine what else is hiding in the conversation logs. As if the Blake-Justin saga needed more A-list flair, none other than Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift appear in the leaked accounts.
Justin also shared screenshots of texts exchanged between him and Ryan.
On Justin's site, he includes a story about how he visited Blake's New York apartment in April 2023 and found Ryan praising his wife's new script changes for the rooftop scene. Soon after, megastar Taylor Swift reportedly waltzed in, also showering Blake with compliments. Imagine being Justin. You're in the living room of a Hollywood power couple, plus a chart-topping musician, all praising rewrites that tweak your own directorial vision. No pressure, right? Blake apparently didn't hold back on her cozy dynamic with Ryan and Taylor, going so far as to text Justin that they're her dragons, protecting her at all costs. Fans have been losing it over that phrase, speculating that once Ryan and Taylor hopped on board, Justin never stood a chance. Some watchers believe the actress wields those friendships like tools if creative disagreements escalate. Meanwhile, Ryan himself appeared upbeat, sending Justin a cheerful text calling him dynamic and expressing excitement for their collaboration. The presence of Taylor just makes the story even more surreal. Everyone's used to hearing about her songs referencing exes, not cameoing in film drama group chats. Blake supposedly asked Justin to swing by her trailer for a lines read while she was feeding her child. People are cracking up at the casual tone, like it's no big deal for a co-star to drop in during that mom moment. Fans on social media are going nuts. For Justin, that invitation must have felt like a sign they were on great terms, especially since the leaked messages show them joking about sentimental Blake versus meanie Blake in a fun, bantering style. Cut to a few months later, and they're in an all-out showdown involving allegations of manipulated footage and claims of a giant campaign. The discrepancy is whiplash-inducing. Some speculate that Blake's comfort level at that time shows she had no issue with Justin's behavior, contradicting her accusations. Others say comfort can flip into discomfort once lines get blurred. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are challenging Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit, and it's getting wild.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds to ask federal court to drop Justin Baldoni's $400 million suit amid legal battles.
Justin Baldoni filed a bombshell $400 million defamation and extortion lawsuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Justin's whopping $400 million lawsuit against them. And let's just say, This legal encounter is juicier than a season finale of Gossip Girl.
Justin Baldoni claiming she tried to destroy his reputation behind the scenes of It Ends With Us.
So, what's going on? Here's the tea. Justin Baldoni, Blake's It Ends With Us director, filed a $400 million lawsuit against Blake, Ryan, and Blake's publicist, Leslie Sloan.
Justin has hit Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and her publicist, Leslie Sloan, $400 million lawsuit,
claiming they've been spreading false accusations about him. But Blake and Ryan aren't having it. Their legal team is now asking a federal court to throw the whole thing out, calling it baseless. Oh, and they're also trying to stop Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, from talking about the case in public because he's been very vocal. Like, we're talking interviews, documentaries, and even a potential website full of evidence. Drama, much? But wait, it gets better. Blake and Ryan's lawyers are accusing Justin's team of trying to mess with the jury by talking so much about the case in the media. Meanwhile, Justin's side is like, nope, we're just telling the truth, and we're not backing down. Cue the legal back and forth, with both sides throwing shade like it's a Twitter feud. And let's not forget, this all started because Blake accused Justin of some pretty serious stuff during the making of It Ends With Us, which Justin has strongly denied. So, yeah, it's messy. Blake and Justin went from smiles to lawsuits, and it's getting messy fast. Blake and Justin were all smiles on the set of It Ends With Us until they weren't. Blake filed her own lawsuit last month, accusing Justin of, among other things, making her feel uncomfortable and trying to ruin her reputation. Justin answered back with his $400 million claim, saying Blake, Ryan, and Leslie are the ones trying to ruin his reputation. And if you're wondering where Ryan fits into all this, well, Justin claims Ryan even mocked him by creating a Deadpool character named Nicepool to make fun of him. Yes, really. But here's the kicker. Blake's legal team is now trying to question a guy named Jed Wallace, who they say was hired by Justin to run a shady online campaign against Blake. According to Blake's lawyers, Jed used platforms like Reddit and TikTok to spread nasty rumors about her. Justin's team, of course, denies this, but it's just another layer of chaos in this already wild saga. So, where does this leave us? Well, the first hearing is set for next week, and both sides are gearing up for what's sure to be a long, drawn-out struggle. Blake and Ryan are pushing to dismiss the case entirely, while Justin's team is doubling down, saying they're ready to take this to the bitter end. And honestly, we're just here for the popcorn-worthy drama. This legal drama is giving major Gossip Girl energy, lawsuits, power plays, and reputations on the line. Remember when Blair and Serena were at each other's throats? Yeah, this is like that, but with lawyers, lawsuits, and a whole lot of money on the line. And while we don't know how this will play out, one thing's clear: Blake and Ryan aren't going down without a fight. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. This isn't just about who said what on set or who's suing who. It's about power, reputation, and how far people are willing to go to protect their image in Hollywood. Blake and Ryan are one of the most beloved couples in the industry, and Justin is a rising star with a lot to lose. This case could have major ripple effects for everyone involved. Fans are already divided, with Team Blake and Team Justin sparking wild debates online. Social media is already buzzing with theories, memes, and hot takes about who's in the right and who's in the wrong. Some people are Team Blake, saying she's standing up for herself against unfair treatment. Others are Team Justin, arguing that he's being unfairly targeted. And then there are those who just want to know if Ryan really created a Deadpool character to mock Justin. Seriously, can we get confirmation on that? As for what's next, it's anyone's guess. The first hearing is just around the corner, and both sides are digging in their heels. Blake and Ryan's legal team is pushing hard to get the case dismissed, while Justin's team is preparing to fight tooth and nail to prove their side of the story. And with so much money and reputation on the line, you can bet this isn't going to be resolved anytime soon. Blake Lively admits to stealing Justin Baldoni's movie without permission.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think. So, yeah.
She absolutely used her power to get control of the film and then locked him out, pushed him away.
In a newly surfaced video from Colleen Hoover's book Bonanza, Gossip Girl icon Blake Lively casually mentioned she literally brought the It Ends With Us movie on an airplane in a folder.
But and just know, it's literally, this is not a bit. It's literally not done.
Ignoring pleas from Sony and Wayfarer not to screen the unfinished film. To the 2,000 plus fans in Grapevine, Texas, she said they don't effing care, referring to the studio's concern that the film wasn't ready. The actress even hinted that Justin Baldoni, who co-founded Wayfarer, hadn't greenlit such a move, but she brushed that off to let Hoover's readers see an early cut. Those were her words, not ours. Of course, everyone's jaw dropped at the notion that she might be defying direct warnings from the very studio that financed the flick. Talk about bold. In the video, Blake insisted fans were the people who authored the success of the book, so they deserved a private peek, perfect or not. Some watchers labeled that sweet fan service, while others found it downright wild, like she was stepping on Justin's directorial toes. She even joked about wearing super cute flower jeans to the screening, abruptly shifting from rule-breaking confessions to random fashion chatter. This whiplash in tone got fans scratching their heads. Is she always this nonchalant about a multi-million-dollar movie? Or was she just hype-riding the festival crowd? People are turning against Blake Lively.
No wonder no one believes Justin Baldoni harassed Blake Lively.
To just say, Blake was just, trying to, placate her husband.
Reactions to the book Bonanza footage were quick once it hit social media. Some fans popped up in comment sections, basically yelling, "Who do you think you are? You don't own the rights." They pointed out that while Blake's name is all over the project as an actress and possibly a producer, Wayfarer and Sony hold the official keys. That means the final say on screenings should come from them, not a spur-of-the-moment decision by the lead star. One especially fiery commenter suggested that if they were in charge, they'd have replaced her right on the spot. Another wondered why Sony hasn't sued Blake over this, given it sounds like a pretty blatant disregard for studio protocol. The more eye-catching part is that this all happened well before Blake filed a complaint against Justin, so critics wonder if her confession might back up Justin's claims that she hijacked the movie, playing boss instead of letting him finalize the cut. Meanwhile, fans of the actress shot back that she's just showing gratitude to the fans who made the novel a bestseller. No one can fully confirm whether or not Blake actually got last-minute permission. Some suspect she was exaggerating for drama. Regardless, it's left watchers feeling that Blake's version of events might differ wildly from the official studio timeline. Justin's $400 million suit specifically calls out a certain Book Bonanza screening as a sign that he'd lost creative control. According to the documents, he claims he wasn't even given the courtesy of reviewing the final cut that Blake took on the road to show fans. The suit suggests he was blindsided, discovering only too late that the star he was supposed to trust with co-production was, in his words, showing the world a film that wasn't even done. For Justin, it's Exhibit A of how his baby, the adaptation of Colleen Hoover's beloved novel, got swiped out from under him. The suit also points to the swirling rumor that Sony originally planned to show just 20 minutes at the event, but Blake apparently insisted they do a full screening. Next thing you know, Justin found out his big directorial vision was playing in front of a massive crowd without him even being invited. But the big question remains, why didn't the studio step in if it was so unauthorized? Some observers believe that Blake's star power, or possibly her relationship with the all-powerful Ryan Reynolds, might have dissuaded Sony from making a fuss in public. Or maybe, as some fans guess, The studio told her no, but she pressed forward anyway, hoping for a promotional buzz. At this point, we only have the suit's insinuations and the fans' viral footage of Blake bragging about the secret screening. Each snippet of evidence feels like a puzzle piece in a drama that keeps getting deeper.
Lively's horrendous behavior on set gets exposed by her former co-star, and apparently she's super entitled behind the scenes.
A TikTok chef who used to be a former actress is saying she was very condescending, would fart on set, and allegedly burp.
Blake Lively is getting the backlash of her life as many past and hidden secrets are exposed.
It seems the It Ends With Us fiasco isn't the only Blake Lively drama dominating Hollywood right now. While fans debate her legal showdown with co-star Justin Baldoni, fresh allegations about her on-set conduct have surfaced.
I'm a sociopath.
And like time stops.
Yeah.
But like, that's just how it's been for us.
Rosella Rego, an actress turned YouTuber who hosts the Italian cooking show Cooking with Nona, claims she had first-hand experience with Blake's horrendous attitude during her time as an extra on Gossip Girl. Rego, who says she's worked on the teen drama across all 6 seasons, shared quite a few eyebrow-raising anecdotes, including stories about burping, flatulence, and a sense that Blake rarely gave the time of day to those beneath her.
There was a lot of expansion and contraction. They can't contain you anymore.
If that's true, it adds another layer to the complicated picture fans are assembling of Blake, who's already facing harsh scrutiny thanks to her tiff with Justin. Rego didn't mince words. She said Blake was very unpleasant to work with, pointing to incidents like Blake burping and farting in the middle of set, acting like we were lucky to be smelling her farts. Rosella's commentary came in a TikTok video that quickly grabbed attention online. She also took a jab at Blake's rumored sense of entitlement, crediting it partly to her Nepo baby status. Blake's father, Ernie Lively, was an actor, and her older siblings also dabbled in entertainment. Rego suggested that fame from Gossip Girl went to Blake's head, especially since she was only 19 when the world started blowing her up. Another intriguing claim is that Blake's attitude soared to new heights after her romance with Leonardo DiCaprio ended. Rego recalled how Blake returned to the Gossip Girl set in a foul mood, carrying a pus on her face and essentially ignoring the extras. Then Ryan Reynolds appeared and everything changed. He started coming around, bowing down at her feet. According to her, the dynamic further fed Blake's ego. All of that fawning might help explain why, if a co-star like Justin came close to overshadowing her, she'd be quick to shut them down. These revelations pop up at an already fraught moment for Blake. She's embroiled in a feud with It Ends With Us director and co-star Justin Baldoni, who's counter-suing her for a whopping $400 million. The suit involves around allegations that Blake twisted the narrative to paint Justin as a weirdo on set, accusing him of tons of stuff that made her deeply uncomfortable. Justin denies it, claiming she's the real villain, hijacking his directional project and icing him out of promotional events. Adding spice to the pot is a behind-the-scenes clip Friedman, Justin's attorney, released showing a dance scene between the two leads. Blake's side calls it further evidence of his boundary pushing, alleging you can see him leaning in uncomfortably close and ignoring her repeated suggestions that they just talk instead of getting too physical. Justin's team, however, says the footage demonstrates a consensual, playful moment that is being distorted for headlines. The lines are drawn and neither side is backing down. Meanwhile, Blake's lawyers are trying to muzzle Justin's camp with a gag order, calling Friedman's media approach an unethical campaign, to which Friedman responded that Blake is simply petrified of the truth. Now, with Rego stepping up to say actually Blake's behavior didn't just flip a switch in 2024, she's been like this for years, fans are putting the puzzle pieces together. If what Rego says is accurate, maybe Blake's notoriously sweet public persona hides some real behind-the-scenes rudeness. Rosella even says that when Blake tried to be nice to the extras, it came off stage and forced a polite thank you that was so over the top it felt disingenuous. Rego characterized it as Blake reluctantly doing the bare minimum to appear friendly, but losing interest if you were just a normal person. She claims that was especially apparent when Blake was in a bad mood, like when her fling with Leo fizzled out. Rosella also touched on the swirling rumors that Blake might have had a flirtation with Justin and turned the tables when it somehow went south. She described Blake as someone who throws people under the bus if they don't cater to her every whim. From her vantage point, it's easy to see how Blake might have let the power dynamics from Gossip Girl carry into It Ends With Us. If the gossip's true, once she realized Justin wasn't putting her on the usual pedestal, she might have escalated their conflicts. It's not the first time such theories have popped up. Some fans on social media already suspected that Blake might have caught feelings for Justin that were unreciprocated, or that Ryan found out about something and forced her to spin the narrative. The speculation is endless, but Rego's comments bolster the storyline of Blake as someone who can't handle not being worshipped. Curiously, none of this seems to match the carefully curated brand Blake promotes on social media, where she's the witty mom joking around with Ryan, rocking stylish outfits, and leaning into that relatable star next door vibe.
The idea that she might openly burp or pass gas around underlings, acting like they should feel honored to smell her fumes, is hardly the type of comedic anecdote fans would expect. Yet for Rosella, it's a big reason she labels Blake horrendous behind the scenes. Of course, we should note that Rago is just one voice. Others on the Gossip Girl set have previously praised Blake's warmth, though few are as specific as Rosella in describing day-to-day interactions. Gossip fans might remember small controversies about Blake not always being super chatty with extras or holding herself a bit aloof. That, however, might be typical of big star stuff. Some leads are more approachable than others. Still, Rago insists Blake's behavior went beyond normal standoffish. Meanwhile, the stitch with Justin Baldoni is overshadowing everything else. The film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel was a huge box office draw in August, but the stars behind the scenes feud quickly became the bigger story. Even though fans loved it, the promotional tour was tense, with Blake and Justin apparently avoiding each other. Now we knew from official court documents that the tension was more than mild annoyance. Blake says Justin allegedly showed her strange images, boasted about his parts, improvised some actions without consent. Justin's side laughs that off, claiming it's total invention. Friedman says Blake's false allegations were part of a carefully orchestrated hit piece in the New York Times. Friedman also blasts Blake for forcing the whole thing onto front pages, only to cry foul when Justin tried to defend himself. Rago isn't the only person in recent days to slam the Blake-Ryan duo. Another old story popped up about Ryan Reynolds allegedly being horrifically mean to TJ Miller on the Deadpool 2 set, apparently fueled by insecurity. TJ talked about it in 2022, but the anecdote just resurfaced thanks to the swirling negativity around Blake's discussion with Justin. So now fans are wondering if Ryan also has a dark side, or if TJ was exaggerating. The synergy is tough to ignore. Ryan's name is in Justin's countersuit, which claims he used his Hollywood clout to sabotage the film's premiere for Justin. All of this begs the question, how many co-stars or behind-the-scenes staff have felt overshadowed or belittled by Blake or Ryan? Could Blake's discussion with Justin be part of the pattern in which she demands total adoration? If you don't provide it, she's quick to brand you as a creep or villain. Rago certainly sees it that way, claiming Blake's real problem with Justin is that he didn't treat her as the unstoppable, worshipped star she's come to believe she is. The ex-Gossip Girl extra was blunt when she said she thinks she can do whatever she wants, and if it backfires, she blames someone else. Maybe the gas, burping, or ignoring extras from decades ago has nothing to do with the new accusations. On the other hand, multiple alleged behind-the-scenes stories can paint a pattern for better or for worse. The entire fiasco is reminiscent of how fans once revered Amber Heard or Johnny Depp, only to see skeletons tumble out in court that drastically changed public perception. For now, fans are left to sort through more accounts like Rago's. Some see it as a petty vendetta from a bit player, but others treat it as a puzzle piece in a bigger mosaic that's not flattering for Blake. Behind the scenes, attorneys for both sides are ramping up. Friedman claims he's developed a website dedicated to presenting unedited footage and text messages. Blake's team calls that more of a manufactured media stunt, but Friedman insists it's the only way to correct the record. We're basically watching a PR showdown as both parties scramble to out-leak the other, each declaring the raw truth is on their side. Regardless of the outcome, Rago's depiction of Blake on Gossip Girl is an unwelcome addition for Team Blake. People are piling on, remembering rumors that she was standoff or moody on set, the mention of her occasionally being kind, yet only in the over-the-top, possibly sarcastic way, is the kind of detail that lingers in public memory.
At least surprising confession. Leaked footage shows Blake Lively admitting Taylor Swift helped her in It Ends With Us.
Secret footage has been released that reveals that Blake Lively was working with Taylor Swift the whole time?
She was with me on this experience the whole time.
And fans are now thinking Taylor was a lot more involved than she initially made it seem.
Taylor Swift is lying about her involvement in the whole It Ends With Us.
This is literally Justin Baldoni's movie, in which he cast himself in alongside Blake Lively.
So a newly leaked video shows Blake Lively confessing something pretty surprising about her journey throughout the making of It Ends With Us, and no.
How did Taylor get on board for this?
It's not about the movie, plot, or her character. It's about none other than Taylor Swift, who, according to Blake, was with her the whole time. Now, this isn't a light thing where you see a bestie supporting her friend, but it goes a lot deeper. The idea of Taylor Swift supporting her BFF through the entire chaotic process of making this film makes it seem pretty innocent on the surface level. But when we continue to see all of the drama of Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni unfold, this aspect starts to become more relevant to the plot. Blake Lively, who is no stranger to being in the spotlight, revealed in the video that Taylor was more involved than we originally thought. Honestly, she was with me on this experience the whole time, Blake said as she spoke about the ups and downs of making the film.
Honestly, she was with me on this experience the whole time.
The casual mention of Taylor Swift here suggests something far more than we initially believed. Now, think about it this way. With all the issues surrounding the film and suits running from Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's side, we now wonder whether Taylor was a major factor in this whole drama. And Blake doesn't just stop there. She also explained that while Taylor was there for her, she wasn't the only person Blake relied on. There was a lot of favors and a whole lot of begging and needs for Taylor she shared before getting more into it, saying,
So there were a lot of favors and a lot of begging and
she's a person who shows up for you and so grateful to have that love and support, but yeah, there were other people too that I had to call and beg, people said no. Saying, she's a person who shows up for you. I'm so grateful to have that love and that support, but yeah, there were other people too that I had to call and beg and people said no. The mention of begging and people that said no hints that things weren't exactly smooth sailing for Blake during the production. Like, first off, her even saying this shows she clearly was trying to push her ideas. On the other end, if Taylor is involved, would her powerful self had something to do with these no's potentially turning into yeses? Blake Lively's statement about not knowing what no means speaks volumes. Fans are quick to point out that it makes her come across as bratty, especially when she talks about the It Ends With Us movies as if she's the one who made all the sacrifices and did all the hard work. And let's not forget that $600,000 wardrobe, no budget? Yeah, right. It's no surprise that people are questioning how much of this drama is really her fault. Like, $600K is crazy, and I think Blake thinks she's still playing a role in Gossip Girl because the plot of It Ends With Us is a totally different vibe. Could Taylor sue Blake?
Blake Lively is officially done for, as her bestie Taylor Swift has had it with her using her name to intimidate people.
Now, what if Taylor Swift actually sued Blake for damaging her brand? Wouldn't that be something? Fans think that Blake might be trying to shield her guilt behind Taylor's image, hoping that their BFF status will protect her from backlash. But the truth might be that Taylor's reputation is just as at risk as Blake's. But it's a tough situation to be in because if they're really that close, would Taylor do that? The other side is, well, she's ruining her image, so she should just sit around and wait to see what happens. The thing is, Blake could really use Taylor's support, but I doubt Taylor will go down with her. Did Taylor Swift know what she was getting into? For those wondering if Taylor knew how deep she was in, it seems like even Taylor herself might not have fully grasped what she was getting into. Popcorn Planet Andy Singer jokingly compared Taylor to a dragon, calling her a protector who stood by Blake through thick and thin. But the reality is, Taylor Swift might have thought she was just offering her friendship at this time, but it might have been a bad idea now with all this drama. As the drama surrounding It Ends With Us started to unfold, sources close to Taylor suggested she was surprised by the direction things were heading. Initially, she might not have had an issue with supporting Blake, but as things spiraled out of control, it became clear that she was involved in something far messier than she'd ever signed up for. Taylor began distancing herself. Melanie King, a commentator on the situation, shared some insight. I think she is. I mean, at the time, I don't think she was upset with her because, all this hadn't unfolded. They didn't think that this would go this far. In other words, Taylor was likely on the sidelines about how much the situation would escalate. She was just trying to be there for her friend when no one else seemed to care. But here's where it gets interesting. While Blake was leaning on Taylor, it seems that Taylor began to distance herself from the drama. As Andy Singer pointed out, Taylor is known for keeping her personal life under wraps, including her relationships and her professional work. So once the scale of the film chaos became known, she started to pull back, possibly realizing that she didn't want to risk her own brand by being too closely associated with a project that was looking messier and messier by the day. One fan made a comment on a leaked video saying, narcissists fall as they tend to drag their enablers down with them. Could Blake have been using Taylor's image as a shield, thinking that her association with Taylor would protect her from the fallout? Or was Taylor simply caught in the middle of a mess unknowingly? And should Taylor be at fault here? I guess where people see Taylor being in the wrong is she used her power to take control to try to help Blake get her way. Is Taylor's brand crumbling? At this point, it's hard to ignore the suspicion that Blake might have been relying too heavily on Taylor's image. Is she trying to leverage their friendship to save her own reputation? Amid all this chaos, it's possible. After all, when you're in the Hollywood drama, there's a lot at stake, and attaching your name to someone as high profile as Taylor Swift certainly doesn't hurt. Although it will be for Taylor. Ultimately, the question remains, was Taylor Swift truly aware of the involvement in this mess, or was she just trying to be the supportive friend she's always been? As things continue to unfold, one thing is clear. Taylor Swift seems to be staying as far away from the drama as possible, guarding her own image from a situation that went way out of control in ways she did not expect. We can also wonder whether Blake is dragging Taylor into this mess because of how big her name is. Maybe originally she used her name for clout, but now it can also be out of convenience to potentially save face. The issue is, she may be too far past saving at this point. I mean, take in when Blake Lively was seen at the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift, but at this time around it seems like Taylor only pulled up with Ice Spice. Fans can't help but wonder if it was due to a lack of invites or because Blake is hiding from the public. I mean, Taylor Swift might need to hide next. Did you all see how she got booed at the Super Bowl? We can only wonder if this was related to that or if people were just being haters. As we wait to see how this all unfolds, it's hard not to wonder, could this whole mess damage Taylor Swift's brand? She's been known for carefully curating her image, maintaining a sense of control over her public life, but now she's been pulled into the drama surrounding Blake Lively's comments. The ongoing feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, the whole drama between Blake and Justin, began as a behind-the-scenes dispute and has now escalated into a full-blown battle. Blake, who was set to star and co-produce a project with Justin's production company, blamed Justin of breaching their contract by making creative decisions without her approval and misrepresenting her role. She felt undermined, she felt pushed out of the production, leading her to take action against Justin for professional actions. Initially, many of Blake's close friends, including Taylor Swift, supported her. However, recent leaks of emails and private messages have cast doubt on her claims, and even her most loyal allies are now choosing to remain silent or distance themselves. With the trial scheduled for March 2026, the situation is becoming increasingly messy, and both Blake and Justin are facing problems. But now more than ever, it seems like Blake is getting a lot more of the heat. But wow, what a lot of chaos in the world of Hollywood, where big actors and lots of big artists are involved.
Lively's career, it's officially over. She's done, and it's all thanks to the drama with Justin Baldoni. Fans are turning on her, and it's not just some small group. People are siding with Justin, and they're calling Blake out for lying and trying to ruin his career. Even Justin's mom is over it. How's that for a punch to the gut? It all started with her lawsuit against Justin, which accused him of making bad comments about her physical appearance. But here's the plot twist. Blake was the one who told Justin he needed a nose job.
My nose is so big.
Yes, I was hoping that we could address this.
Blake accused Justin inappropriately commented on her physical appearance. Meanwhile, she told Justin Baldoni he needed to get plastic surgery for a nose job and invited him in her caravan while breastfeeding. This was tweeted by Lene Blanc on X. Can you believe that? She's playing the victim while pulling the same stuff she's accusing Justin of. How does that even make sense? Blake fans must be scratching their heads right now, trying to justify this. And then the lies just kept coming. Blake tried to weaponize the Me Too movement to take Justin down, but Farrah Bueller hit the nail on the head. Justin Baldoni evidence is so damning because it shows Blake Lively not only lying about key moments of SH, but she was attempting to paint this man as a Harvey Weinstein to weaponize the Me Too MVNT, all because she wanted control of a movie? Let that sink in. Blake used a serious movement to ruin Justin's life, all because she wanted power over a project. That's not just a lie that's manipulative and bad, but do Blake's fans see it that way, or are they still blindly defending her? It's hard to tell, especially with some fans calling Justin's side of the story inflammatory. Things went from bad to worse for Blake when Justin released a raw 10-minute video proving her claims were false. Justin Baldoni just released a raw 10-minute video from production that proves Blake Lively lied through her teeth. She claimed he did her bad, and Justin just came through with the receipts. Another user had this to say: "This video had all the receipts." If you're still backing Blake after seeing that, you have to ask yourself, what are you really supporting? Lies? Manipulation? Justin just dropped the truth, And it's clear that Blake's claims were nothing but a desperate attempt to destroy him. And if you thought it couldn't get worse for Blake, think again. A resurfaced video of Blake admitting to doing blackface is circulating online, and the backlash is intense. Video proof of Blake Lively lying in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, and a resurfaced video of her admitting to doing blackface. Oh girl, just say goodbye to your career, ATP. Ouch. That's a serious blow to her career, and no amount of damage control can undo that. How can anyone still take her seriously after all this? But don't take it from just me. The public is speaking out. Justin Baldoni, it ends with Blake Lively. End her lying, manipulative, and victimizing self. Whack her again. People are tired of Blake playing the victim and using other people to get ahead. They want the truth, and the truth is, Justin was never the villain she made him out to be. The support for Justin is overwhelming, and Blake's fan base is shrinking by the minute. Still, Blake's fans haven't given up completely. Some are still defending her, even as the evidence stacks up against her. They claim she's been misjudged, or worse, that she's the victim of a smear campaign. But the reality is hard to ignore. Her lies have been exposed, and no amount of Twitter hashtags or fan chants can change that. Some people might still believe in her, but they're in the minority at this point. Justin, on the other hand, is coming out stronger than ever. As more people see the proof, the more they're rallying behind him. Blake's lies have caught up with her, and she's left with no way to defend herself. The truth about her manipulative tactics is out, and now it's clear who the real victim is in this situation. So, what's next for Blake Lively? It's hard to say, but one thing's for sure, her career isn't going to recover from this. As Leon LeBlanc put it, # Blake Lively is a bully, period. She tried to take down an innocent man with lies and false accusations, and now she's facing the consequences. Justin Baldoni has the support of the public, and as more evidence comes to light, it's clear that Blake's time in Hollywood has come to an end. The truth always wins, and it looks like Justin is the one who will walk away with his career intact. Blake Lively? Well, she might want to start looking for a new job. The intimacy coordinator has just stepped into the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni drama, and it's only getting messier.
Every moment of this was improvised by Mr. Baldoni with no discussion or consent.
Allegedly, Justin made Blake feel uncomfortable during intimate scenes on It Ends With Us.
Lively's team tells who has been inappropriately touched in the workplace will recognize Miss Lively's discomfort.
And now, with the coordinator stepping up, things are heating up even more. So, why is this all coming out now? Why wait until now to speak up? And why is this turning into such a public spectacle? Could there be something deeper behind the scenes that we're not being told? The drama began when Blake Lively, in a December 2024 interview, described an uncomfortable situation during the filming of It Ends With Us. She claimed that Justin Baldoni had crossed a line during a slow dance scene. The issue? He allegedly attempted to caress her multiple times during the scene, despite their script not calling for it, and Blake pulling away each time. Now, if you're thinking, wasn't that supposed to be an intimate scene? Well, it was, but it wasn't supposed to go there. The slow dance was planned to stay innocent, with no canoodling involved. Fans have been raising some big questions. What happened to the professional boundaries? Shouldn't consent and comfort always be top of mind when you're working in close quarters with someone? Her fans are pointing out that Justin Baldoni intended for this to happen. People have been saying Blake clearly felt uncomfortable in the moment, and when someone is repeatedly pulling away, that should be a sign, loud and clear. This is where Mia Schachter, an intimacy coordinator, comes in.
An intimacy coordinator, Mia Schachter, has reviewed leaked footage from the film It Ends With Us.
She wasn't on set for It Ends With Us, but after the leaked footage of the scene hit the media, she took a look and had some serious feedback. According to Mia, what she saw wasn't just a small misstep, but a clear violation of boundaries. The slow dance scene was meant to stay platonic, but Justin's attempts to caress Blake, despite her pulling away, showed a breakdown in communication. Schachter's conclusion was simple. What happened on that set was not what was agreed upon, and it shouldn't have gone that far. People have been quick to point out that Blake visibly pulled away as Justin leaned in. It felt like the kind of thing that could happen all too easily in an environment where the lines between professional and personal are constantly blurred. I mean, it's easy to say, just speak up. But we've all been in situations where speaking up isn't as simple as it sounds, especially when your career is on the line, and the person crossing those boundaries is someone who holds power over your job. What did you think while watching? Now, let's flip the coin and look at Justin's perspective. While, of course, her fans want to side with Blake because who wants to invalidate someone's discomfort? People have been saying we also need to look at Justin's side. Imagine being a director and actor trying to create something real and emotional. Maybe Justin was just so wrapped up in the chemistry he was trying to create between his character and Blake's that he lost track of the line between fiction and reality. Did he think that by pushing a little, he'd make the scene feel more authentic? Maybe he didn't even realize how far he was going. He might have thought, hey, we need this chemistry. But at that moment, he wasn't reading the room, or rather, Blake. Look, I'm not saying Justin is a bad guy, but this situation is a classic case of miscommunication. He might have thought he was just improvising in the moment, trying to create more connection. But the reality is that when a person pulls away, that should be the ultimate sign to back off. But in the heat of filming, especially when emotions are running high, the lines can get blurry. Was it a mistake? Maybe. But it was still a mistake that made Blake uncomfortable, and that matters. At the end of the day, there are two sides to this story. Blake's fans say she was right to pull away, while others argue Justin was just doing his job. Hollywood thrives on drama, but let's not jump to conclusions without seeing the full picture. There's always more to these stories than what meets the eye, and this might just be another case of things getting blown out of proportion. It's over for Blake Lively. This is what her fans are saying. She has gone too far with this whole Justin Baldoni drama.
The allegation is made in a legal complaint filed by Blake against her former co-star and director on the film.
15 seconds. That's all it takes.
And the more this plays out, the more Blake Lively's appeal is lost. No one believes Blake's side of the story, especially after so many clips of Blake have resurfaced.
And I put bronzer all over myself in a Scary Spice fro, so I thought they would think I was like a black girl.
What is the next 5 years of...
Yeah, it's not looking good for Blake Lively at all. But let me know if you believe Blake Lively or do you think she's lying. So where we're at right now is Justin Baldoni has filed a suit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for a jaw-dropping $400 million.
Justin has hit Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds with a $400 million lawsuit,
claiming they orchestrated a campaign to end his career. But let's rewind a bit. Remember all those whispers about on-set tension during the filming of It Ends With Us? Well, things seem to have escalated dramatically. Blake reportedly accused Justin of creating a toxic work environment, citing his intense directing style and alleged bad behavior. This, of course, led to a media frenzy, with many questioning Justin's character and professionalism. But now, Justin's firing back with a vengeance. He claims Blake's accusations are completely false and that she and Ryan, Hollywood's power couple, used their influence to manipulate the narrative and paint him as the villain. He alleges they leaked distorted information to the press, ruining his reputation and jeopardizing his future projects. And if that wasn't enough, Justin's also dragged Taylor Swift into this legal battle. Justin Baldoni's suit doesn't directly accuse Taylor Swift of any wrongdoing, but it definitely paints her in a suspicious light. Here's what we've pieced together from the court documents and those insider whispers. Apparently, Blake and Justin had a meeting at Blake and Ryan's NYC penthouse to discuss some script rewrites Blake had done. Justin claims Ryan was there from the get-go, singing Blake's praises, and then, a few hours later, Taylor Swift casually pops in, also gushing about Blake's writing. Coincidence? Maybe. But Justin clearly felt pressured to agree with their collective genius. He even texted Blake later, saying he would have loved the rewrite even without Ryan's input. Blake probably told Ryan about this, and he probably got a little offended. In one of the text messages included in the claim that was filed, Blake refers to Taylor and Ryan as her dance moms level stage moms, and the dragons to her Khaleesi. Okay, a little dramatic, but it definitely suggests a tight-knit alliance. Justin seems to imply that Taylor and Ryan were part of Blake's inner circle and that they used their influence to sway his decisions on set. This suit is more than just a Hollywood squabble. It's a full-blown feud with potentially long-lasting negative consequences. Justin is accusing Blake and Ryan of trying to ruin his reputation and invasion of privacy, claiming their actions have caused him immense emotional distress and financial loss. He's not just seeking monetary compensation, he wants to clear his name and expose what he believes is a calculated attempt to ruin his career. On the other side, Blake and Ryan are likely not going to back down that easily. They're not ones to back down from something like this. And with their combined star power and resources, this whole drama could drag on for months, if not years. Meanwhile, the It Ends With Us movie itself is caught in the mix. With all this negative publicity and behind-the-scenes drama, people thought audiences wouldn't be interested in seeing it, but it actually turned out to be the highest-grossing film that Blake Lively has starred in, earning over $351 million on a $25 million budget. So the Blake versus Justin drama appears to have actually helped the movie. And what about Taylor Swift? How will she respond to being dragged into this mess? Will she publicly defend herself or choose to stay silent? Whether Taylor was aware of this alleged scheme or simply caught in the mix remains to be seen.
Lively's comments are coming back in the news, and it isn't for a good reason. Her past reputation as one of the mean girls in Hollywood isn't doing her any favors right now. Blake Lively has long been admired for her quick wit, bold personality, unwavering confidence. Just ask her loyal fans. Or take a look at her hilarious online banter with her husband, Ryan Reynolds. But lately, her trademark sense of humor has been stopping at some serious roadblocks. One of the most talked about incidents revolves around an undated panel discussion clip that went viral on TikTok. In the video, Blake is seated next to her Gossip Girl co-star Leighton Meester. While discussing some behind-the-scenes anecdotes, Blake cracks what she clearly intended as a joke. "Well, some of us started in a cage," she says, waving her hand in Leighton Meester's direction. The audience's reaction? Stunned silence and a few awkward chuckles. Blake, perhaps realizing the crowd's discomfort, quickly backpedaled, "Come on, it was a joke, Lord have mercy."
Come on, it was a joke.
Unfortunately, her attempts to patch things up only made people more uncomfortable. Onlookers in the room and later social media commentators expressed their disapproval, calling the comment tone-deaf and insensitive. The fact that Blake's joke was directed at Leighton Meester made it all the more jarring. So for those of you who don't know, Leighton Meester was actually born in a prison. So it was a pretty mean joke. According to executive producer Joshua Safran, who spilled the beans at a Vanity Fair interview, Blake and Leighton weren't exactly BFFs in real life despite playing best friends on screen. Sure, they weren't bitter enemies, but they definitely didn't share the same warm rapport fans might have hoped for. So you can imagine how uncomfortable it must have been for Leighton to stand by while Blake made jokes at her expense. It's one thing to exchange like friendly jabs with a long-term pal. It's another to target someone who you're not really close with. Fans quickly jumped in to call Blake's joke in bad taste, with many many pointing out that humor doesn't always translate well between acquaintances, especially when it digs into personal struggles. The biggest issue with Blake's cage joke is its reference to Leighton Meester's unconventional background. Leighton was born to Constance Meester, who was incarcerated and serving time for some big things. Growing up, Leighton spent her early years under her grandmother's care. This background is no secret to longtime fans, but it's still a delicate subject. Bringing it up in an offhand joke, especially in a public way, it's not a good look. Many who witnessed the viral clip felt that Blake's comment trivialized Leighton's hardships, turning them into punchlines rather than showing any empathy. After the clip made its rounds, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram erupted with opinions. Some people posted saying that they'd never see Blake the same way again, while others argued that Blake was just trying to lighten the mood with some playful banter. Still, the overwhelming opinion leaned toward disapproval. A barrage of comments labeled Blake as insensitive, disrespectful, unfunny. The last thing you want when you already have rumors of on-set tension is to make a public fool of yourself that confirms everyone's suspicions. Yet here was Blake, caught on camera, making a remark about someone else's difficult childhood. The timing and the tone made it practically impossible for her to talk her way out of it. And this isn't the first time Blake has found herself in hot water over her words. Throughout 2024, multiple clips of her interviews have gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Whether it's the way she discusses sensitive topics or her quick, flippant retorts to seemingly harmless questions, something about Blake's delivery rubs certain fans the wrong way. Another glaring example of Blake's commentary took place during a Vogue 73 Questions segment back in July 2014. The interviewer asked her which movie made her laugh the hardest, and Blake responded without batting an eyelash with Shawshank Redemption. Cue the collective record scratch. The 1994 classic is a famously gritty tale of wrongful imprisonment, friendship, corruption. It's hailed as one of the most emotionally stirring films of all time. Not exactly a laugh-out-loud romp. The interviewer seemed amused but quickly moved on. When the clip resurfaced on TikTok, though, fans weren't so forgiving.
Movie you laughed the hardest through?
Shawshank Redemption.
They questioned if Blake had actually watched the same movie or if she was just attempting some dry, sarcastic humor and completely missing the mark. Social media erupted once again. One user commented that Blake might have been pulling Ryan Reynolds, known for his deadpan humor, but ultimately failed to deliver. Another person insisted that Blake was just trying to be ironic but flubbed the execution. Another viewpoint argued that Blake might not have had an actual answer in mind and tossed out the first random little thing she could think of, trying to appear clever or edgy. Whatever her intentions, her response was negative, with some calling her blindsidedly pretentious, others rolling their eyes at what they saw as a clumsy attempt at humor. While Blake still has plenty of superfans, the growing thread on Reddit called her cringe, demonstrating a noticeable shift in how certain corners of the internet perceive her. Some people said she's always been this way but flew under the radar because the media loved her. Now with multiple clips surfacing, people are revisiting past interviews, discovering more instances where her jokes may have landed awkwardly. Many argue that it's fine to have a sense of humor after all, it's part of what made her so likable, but you have to know when to pivot and show respect, especially around heavy topics like incarceration and other things that shouldn't be taken lightly. The scrutiny over her comedic style also comes to a head with her recent press tour for It Ends With Us. The movie tackles heavy themes, yet Blake seemed more focused on flaunting her new healthcare line, Blake Brown Beauty, and gushing about the film's fashion. Fans felt that downplaying the serious elements of the story was another example of Blake's disconnect. A contingent of viewers and readers voiced dismay, saying she had trivialized a serious subject in favor of self-promotion. Celebrity journalist Kirsty Flav recently posted a video titled "The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job," garnering over 3 million views and stirring considerable buzz. The footage, taken in 2016 during an interview for Cafe Society, left watchers with a negative taste in their mouth. The tension began when Kirsty attempted to compliment Blake's pregnancy, saying, "First off, congrats on your little bump." Blake responded with a curt "congrats on your little bump," gesturing towards Kirsty.
Congrats on your little bump.
Making matters more awkward, Parker Posey, also present for the interview, asked, "What about my bump?" as she pointed to her backside.
What about my bump?
The two actresses spent much of the remaining time conversing with each other, barely acknowledging Kirsty. Their behavior struck viewers as mean-spirited rather than entertaining. Kirsty visibly struggled with the uncomfortable exchange. Nonetheless, she maintained her professionalism. Speaking with the Daily Mail, Kirsty admitted, "It hurts because I obviously wasn't pregnant and I could never get pregnant." Another moment involved Blake using a word she shouldn't have been using while chatting with Elle about the possibility of having daughters, saying she wants her kids to appreciate shoes, bags, and stories. The comment garnered a wave of online criticism. Meanwhile, rumors of a feud between Blake and her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni have gained momentum. Justin, who both directed and starred in the film, raised eyebrows when he skipped all press appearances with his castmates and steered clear of the red carpet alongside Blake. Justin has reportedly hired Melissa Nathan, the crisis PR manager known for her work with Johnny Depp, during his court battle against Amber overheard. Insiders claim Blake and Justin clashed over creative choices. Reports suggested Blake and her husband Ryan brought in an editor to assemble their preferred vision of the film, which apparently became the final cut. Rumors also circulated that Blake accused Justin of weird on-set conduct, but neither party has publicly addressed these claims. According to sources speaking to the Daily Mail, Blake is worried about her career following the continuous missteps she's had. Rumor has it she believed her new role would be her moment to shine, but now fears it could derail her career. Blake is definitely upset by the backlash. She thought this was her big opportunity, but now she worries it could end everything, said one insider. She's concerned nobody will want to work with her after this. The source added that Blake hopes to keep producing, directing, acting, but intends to pause and reconsider her next steps. Baldoni exposes Blake Lively for lying in new leaked text messages.
Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, plans to release even more text messages between the co-stars.
I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there.
Justin Baldoni's next steps in his fight against his It Ends With Us co-star Blake Lively.
Okay, so Blake's new lawsuit against Justin might not be truthful, especially since now he has come out with proof that she omitted information and that she wasn't truthful about certain things. So,
Justin Baldoni from the get-go said, I don't want to do anything negative toward her. I don't want to hurt her.
So many lies have been uncovered, so much drama, and also certain fans and specialists are saying that they think Blake and Justin might have been in love. Guys, there's so much to unpack here, I don't even know where to start. Stay with me. Justin Baldoni's attorney just announced that they plan to release every single text message between Blake and Justin to prove that she's not telling the truth.
Every single text message that exists out there, put them on a website for the world to see.
They've already put a ton out, but now they're saying that there's more in between them. She was apparently rewriting text messages, changing the context, so it seems like he's gearing up to clear his name. Apparently there will be more actors that'll be called out as well. I wonder if this means Ryan Reynolds, because he said that he was putting him down, secretly writing scenes behind his back. What I will start with is, yes, I know a lot of people are on Blake's side, but she did lie, and I'm gonna get into that. A lot of people say that Justin gives them weird vibes, said that he started a smear campaign, but he did prove a lot of what she was saying to be untrue. Also, did you see her etiquette in certain interviews? Before I continue, I'm a Blake Lively fan. I think she's beautiful. I think she's so talented as an actor. She was also an icon in Gossip Girl. Anyway, her interviews and the way she handled herself were completely immature and tone deaf. The reporter Jake Hamilton asked Blake and her co-star, for people who see this movie who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're going to want to talk to you. So if someone understands the themes of this movie and comes across you in public and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it? Again, her response was just not it. She responded saying, maybe asking for my address or my phone number or location share. I could just location share you. Her co-star was not impressed, and honestly a lot of other people weren't either. Why trying to be funny in this situation? And here's the thing, people are saying it's not her job to console people, she's not a therapist, it's not her job to be affected by the themes of this movie, she was just simply there to act, but she could have shown some empathy instead of making light of this. Those are real situations that people are stuck in, people who need help and support. I mean, she doesn't have to help anyone at all, and I would have respected more if she just said she can't help people instead of trying to make a joke about it. I don't think I'm being too sensitive here either, correct me if I'm wrong. Blake has many fans that love her, but a lot of them are now saying that she's moving in such a shady way. Blake said that Justin hired a publicity firm to engage in a social smear campaign to start a campaign against her while they were promoting the film. She claimed he walked into her dressing room uninvited, but there was text messages that he showed that he was actually invited in there. Justin's legal team rebutted the claim in the actor's lawsuit, pointing to text messages from Blake that read, "I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work at our lines," to which Justin responded, "Copy, eating with crew, and we'll head that way." There were other comments that were apparently made by Justin Baldoni. Apparently he showed her photos as well. I can't go into too much detail here, but her accusations are pretty bad. His team has debunked a lot of them. Does that mean Justin Baldoni is innocent? No. We really don't know what happened. But Justin Baldoni was pretty well known before all of this happened, and he was an avid women's rights activist. He was a feminist. So for him to choose to do this at this time, it really doesn't make sense. And Candace Owens actually made a great point, that we should really wait to see what happens before canceling someone. As soon as we hear something in the media, it's easy to form an opinion. I did it. I was so ready to cancel Justin and defend Blake online. Now I'm unsure. Now, Blake is a big star here, and she does have a lot of support. She has a massive fan base that even stems back in the day when she was in Gossip Girl. Amber Heard apparently supports Blake Lively, as it was said that Justin used the same PR team to smear Blake that Johnny Depp did to Amber Heard. I don't know if this is true, but apparently it is. Amy Schumer is another Blake Lively supporter. She simply wrote, "I believe Blake." Tons of people spoke up for her. Dana Bowling had such an interesting theory. If you don't know her, she's a former casting director. She's really into pop culture. I recently discovered her, and I'm a fan. What she said is,
okay, I'm just thinking of theories here. Is it possible that Blake Lively was in love with Justin Baldoni?
When I saw the movie last week, 2 weeks ago, I texted my friend Zach and said their chemistry was palpable. Now, you may not agree, but as a former casting director, I can feel these things when you watch these films, and there's sometimes you just feel it and sometimes you don't. But when I was watching these two, they didn't feel like two people who couldn't stand each other. They felt like two people who wanted to blank. My brain might be going crazy here. Is it possible that there were feelings there? Did Ryan Reynolds jump on something there and was like, is my wife into this guy? And now I'm gonna lose it on him? Have I just lost my mind? Her theory isn't unheard of, and it's really not that crazy. It's happened many times on set that two coworkers have fallen for each other, and sometimes they're already taken. I mean, look at Angelina Jolie, Jennifer Aniston, and Brad Pitt on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, you probably do, but when Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively met, he was married to Scarlett Johansson. Now, Blake and Ryan said they never overstepped, they were just best friends. But some fans think differently. A year after he finalized his divorce with Scarlett, he married Blake. Everyone has moved on. Scarlett is happy with her new man. Blake and Ryan are the cutest couple and loved by many. The only reason I bring this up is because when Ryan and Blake met on set, they clearly had chemistry. So Dana Bowling saying that Blake and Justin could have potentially had a thing, it's not impossible. Justin is married to a gorgeous woman who he clearly loves a lot. And again, Blake and Ryan are a beautiful couple. I don't think anyone stepped out on their relationship, especially with Blake just giving birth to her baby who she was feeding on set. Anyway, like I said, nothing is impossible, but this drama, it's just getting crazier and crazier. Justin Baldoni's team plans to release every single text between them, and it is going to be wild. This is gonna get crazy. I don't even know what's gonna happen. We'll get the real truth soon. Stay tuned.